By now, you know that sound. It means it's Thursday and it's time for another edition of Cuyahoga's Most Wanted. We work with the Cuyahoga County Sheriff's Department as well as Crime Stoppers of Cuyahoga County to feature 3 fugitives every week. They could be out on our street right now when they really need to be in a courtroom in front of a judge facing serious charges. You're going to hear from homicide on down today in our charges, unfortunately. Individuals who are out there, law enforcement all over Northeast Ohio are on the hunt for these individuals. Let's bring in Detective Red Dyer with the Cuyahoga County Sheriff's Department. Detective, how are you today?
Excellent, Dan. It's a little chilly this morning. Had to break out the winter jacket.
There it is. It is fall. Thanks for joining us. Red, let's remind our audience, this goes out and these tips come into police stations, sheriff's departments, all over Northeast Ohio. Why is working with the community such an important part of this program?
Well, Dan, us as law enforcement officers recognize the value in our community, the eyes and ears and the information that our community can provide. And frankly, Dan, the community themselves want to clean up their own communities and provide us with information to help us do that while remaining anonymous and gaining the ability to get a potential reward, which we'll get into later.
You know, that makes you make a very good point about cleaning up our community. And look, everybody would love if there was an officer or a deputy standing on every street corner all throughout Northeast Ohio. That's just not possible. That's why you at home, when you see these fugitives, this is your chance. Make that anonymous phone call to Crime Stoppers, and we'll get into why this program works when we say anonymous a little bit later. Red, we've got to get to our first case. This is a suspected homicide case. What do we know about Alan Griffin Jr.?
Well, Dan, Alan Griffin Jr. may be known on the streets as Sticks. Mr. Griffin Jr. is wanted by the East Cleveland Police Department because in September of this year, it's alleged that Alan got into a verbal argument with the victim in the area of 14,000 Terrence Ave. He then shot the victim in the chest, killing him. Alan fled the scene prior to police arrival. He actually has a criminal history with the Sheriff's Department, Dan, dating back to 1981, and he should be considered armed and extremely dangerous. He's approximately 5'9" and 158 pounds and was last known to be staying in the 14,000 block of Terrace Ave in the city of East Cleveland.
Unfortunately, yet another unsolved homicide at this point until we get the alleged shooter in custody. Griffin Jr. out on our streets, could be out there right now, again known by the name of Sticks. That may be a better way for people to say, hey, I know that guy, or I know where he's at, and bring in the tips. We're going to get to our next case here, and this is a charge of attempted murder. What do we know about Reginald Warren II?
Well, Dan, what we know is, as you stated, he's wanted on an attempted murder case with the Sheriff's Department. So we're talking about a very serious charge. According to reports, it's alleged that he shot the victim in the face. He's prohibited actually from being in possession of a firearm, Dan, due to his criminal history, to include, for instance, a guilty plea to trafficking drugs. Indictments in that specific case state that he was in possession of cocaine and heroin. So we're talking we're talking drugs, we're talking gun violence here, Dan. Very dangerous individual we want off our streets. He actually has a criminal history with the Sheriff's Department that dates back to 2011, and he also should be considered armed and extremely dangerous. So we want him off the streets as soon as possible. He's approximately 5'8" and 260 pounds and was last known to be staying in the 12,000 block of Ocelia Avenue in the city of Cleveland.
It does make it hard when we see these cases, someone being shot in the face, someone being shot in the chest. A lot of crime out there on our streets, and it could take one tip to get these people behind bars. Let's get to our third and final fugitive, Diamond Tinsley. What do we know?
Well, Dan, we're talking about another crime here that involves a firearm. According to reports, in May of 2022, it's alleged that during a road rage incident, Diamond fired 2 shots at the victim's vehicle from her vehicle. She failed to appear for a pretrial hearing, and a warrant was issued for her arrest. It's approximately 5'2" and 120 pounds and was last known to be staying in the 1100 block of East 113th Street in the city of Cleveland. So violent road rage incident here, Dan, not something we want on our streets.
Red, people get nervous. They get scared to get involved. They don't want their name put in some sort of court document that when maybe Reginald Warren shows up in court, that he finds out who made the call that got him locked up. Maybe Alan Griffin Jr., who's wanted on a homicide charge. People don't want to get involved because they're scared. That's why Crime Stoppers of Cuyahoga County works. Walk people through this idea of, and we're about to put the number up, when you see this phone number and you consider calling, why should a viewer feel safe?
Well, Dan, they should feel safe because as we go over every week, we don't have caller ID, we don't take down your name, we don't record the phone calls, and we don't take any of your personal identifying information. Any tip that you can provide, no matter how small you may think it is valuable to us, including what vehicle they may be driving, where they may be working, where they may be staying, any places that they frequent. Any small tip like this can help get one of these dangerous individuals off the streets. So typically, if it's the word on the street, we're going to know about it. So your identity will be 100% protected.
And that's an incredible encouragement, as is the reward. Red, those tips can go out to law enforcement all over Northeast Ohio. This isn't just Cuyahoga County. That tip comes into Crime Stoppers, and if this is a vehicle or a crime that's in East Cleveland or Lakewood or Lorain, this information is going to get shared industry-wide for law enforcement officers. Red, the reward money can be up to $5,000. When we talk about that $5,000 reward money, what do you like people to know?
That crime doesn't pay, but Crime Stoppers does.
You don't want to mess with Detective Red Dyer at the Cuyahoga County Sheriff's Department. Red, another week, another 3 fugitives. We know this works. This program has had some immense success of getting criminals off the street in the past. Want to thank you for the work that you're doing, Crime Stoppers, the work that they're doing, and really all of law enforcement around Northeast Ohio. Detective, thanks for joining us today. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Take care, Red. That's going to wrap it up. Another 3 fugitives. Again, this is about making our community safer. It is one phone call, 216-252-7463 to Crime Stoppers, and it is all anonymous. You're given a tip number. It's almost like tracking a package in the mail. You get that tip number. You call in 45 days later and see if your tip helped bring in one of our fugitives and if you're eligible for that reward. Let's go out there and make our community a little bit safer. I'm Dan DeRose with 19 News. Have a good afternoon.
19 News is everywhere. Download our CTV apps and follow us on social media at Cleveland 19 News.
Sorry, Red. Totally just hold on just a second. I gotta get plugged back in. Yeah, just out of sorts here. Red, we appreciate it. Patricia, thank you for the time today.
Thank you.
Everything normal is next week?
Everything normal. We'll be praying for you.
Thank you, guys. We appreciate it. Talk to you later.
Take care, Dan.
Bye-bye.
Bye.